morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ogbanje Joseph. Please subscribe to this channel, share, like, as well as drop a comment on the comment section. So, we are looking at the similarities between political parties and pressure groups. The similarities between political parties and pressure groups. Now, it is a truism that political parties and pressure groups are both informal institutions that are sacrosanct in every democracy, but they don't exactly mean the same thing. So, the similarities are as follows. Number one, both political parties and pressure groups seek to influence the government. They influence, the decisions, the policies, and programs of government. Yes, political parties, the one that wins election forms the government and becomes the ruling party. The ones that did not win election actually go into opposition. As they go into opposition, they actually seek to influence. They actually influence the decisions of government. They create alternatives at every point in time. And so, so does also do pressure groups, because pressure groups actually influence. In fact, the major primary purpose of pressure group is influencing the policies and programs of government. That's number one. Number two, both political parties and pressure groups are voluntary organizations. Now, being voluntary simply means that people are free to join or leave any political party or pressure group, as it is not compulsory. However, when someone is a member of a political party or pressure group, it is necessary to pay membership fee, for funding and organization of the party. Now, for example, members of all political parties, like the APC, PDP, the ABGA, the Labour Party in Nigeria, the Conservative in UK, the Republican and Democratic Party in the US, pay annual membership fee, but are not forced to join or leave these parties and join others. Okay. However, it is sometimes difficult to join some sectional groups which represent members of special occupation like teachers union. Okay, if one is not a teacher. Okay, so what I've just said here is that it is actually not very easy for some professional associations, for you not to be a member of certain professional associations, to now go and join them. For example, if you're not a barrister, you can't join Nigeria Bar Association. If you're not a doctor, you cannot join residents, doctors and all of that. If you are not a teacher, you cannot join Nigeria Union of Teacher. If you are not a Yoruba man, you cannot join the Yoruba ethnic groups, pressure group. Okay, so that is actually for that. Number three, both political parties and pressure groups may work together depending on the issue they represent. Now, if their policies match, it is more likely for them to cooperate. For example, in America, an interest group, NRA, which is for less strict gun control, laws, okay, supports the Republican Party, while other interest groups which associate with equal rights for all Americans would associate with Democratic Party. For example, health interest groups in America, which is called American Public Health Association, religious pressure group known as National Council of Churches, civic pressure group, which is Association for Non-Smokers, non-smokers, right? All of them can actually come together to team up to now say, okay, this is exactly what we want. Because, some of these political parties, okay, once their ideologies actually align with the interest of the pressure groups, they tend to actually join forces together. Okay, so that's actually the next one. The next one is both political parties and pressure groups criticize the government policies. Now, some of government policies may have no benefits to the citizens at all, or may favor only the ruling class. This being the case, both political parties and pressure groups criticize government plans, policies, and practices and suggest the way forward. For example, when the government of Goodluck Jonathan announced the removal of subsidy on the 1st of January 2012, it received a relatively hot debate from both political parties and pressure groups. Now, the pressure groups like NLC and political parties like the ACN were vociferous in their criticisms, okay, until the unpopular policy was suspended. Now, the next one is both political parties and pressure groups take action to promote changes and further, their goals. For example, they may struggle for advocacy, public awareness programs, policy reform, and so on, and so on and so forth, to achieve their goals. They may wage demonstration or public protest against any social misconduct, forcing the government to take measures. For example, protests against the fuel subsidy removal, election results, end SARS protests in 2020 and all of that. Okay, then number 6, they both represent the opinion of the people who are disgruntled, with government decisions. Now, political parties and pressure groups represent the viewpoints of people who are not satisfied with the current conditions in their societies and often represent alternative viewpoints that are not well represented in the mainstream population. By forming pressure groups, or political parties, people seek to express their shared beliefs and values and influence changes within communities and socio-political structure such as government and cooperation. For example, in the US, the tobacco control movement has been successful in influencing changes across a number of socio-political structures. Okay, the next one is both the political parties and pressure groups may use a variety of strategies to achieve their goals. Now, this include lobbying lobbying the elected officials, the government, media advocacy, and direct political actions like protests. Now, clearly, some pressure groups and political parties exert more influence than others. In Nigeria, for example, the NLC, TUC, ASU, NUPENG are some of the most influential than other pressure groups, and the PDP, APC, ABGA, Labour Party are the most influential political parties in the opposition. Okay, so now another point. Okay, another point is that both political parties and pressure groups, okay, may provide the social services where the service is due. Now, political parties in need, okay, of people's appreciation will always be there when people need their help. Likewise, the pressure groups provide for social services in response to different calamities. For example, following the flooding that ravaged some parts of Nigeria in 2012, many voluntary pressure groups and political parties participated in providing humanitarian aids to the victims. No, so now finally, okay, basically, while pressure groups and political parties are generally acknowledged a potential and beneficial to a democratic society, problems can arise when the democratic process becomes dominated by a few specific groups. Now, in this situation, the voice of small group of people with a particular interest can become overly influential and negatively affect, okay, the rights of other individuals. In a democratic society like Nigeria, there is need for compromises in order to reach a consensus regarding the common good. Now, if pressure groups and political parties, okay, remain rigid and refuse to compromise on specific issues, they can potentially monopolize the democratic process by focusing, public debate on a few specific issues. Thank you very much.